look to nose forward very, very gently, because often the first you know of an enemy is when they shoot at you. So you don't want them to have a chance to shoot too many times. So they're just going to have a gentle nose forward, and they're not too sure about something, so they're just about to, they're not sure whether to carry on, so it doesn't look too healthy, so, but they're still nosing forward to have a bit more of a look as they come round. So as they're sort of like coming around the top, you can see that they're heading towards danger, really, but then that's the job of a soldier, unfortunately. We have our German guard who's manning a guardhouse and a guard post, but he looks a bit lonesome by himself, and he's suddenly spotted them. So he's running over now to tell his mates to set the alarm off. As you can see now, we've got people moving over to one side of the arena into defensive positions. So we're sort of like thinking, maybe it's time to set up a fire support base. So we've got a 30 caliber in the back of the Dodge weapons carrier. So we're going to lay that down as defensive support, so that we can keep the heads down when things start to go lively. So we're just having to think about this now. What are we going to do? Do we think it's safe, or do we think it's the right thing to move forward? Should we call in fire support and land a few bombs on them to see what happens? Should we call in air support? Should we call in artillery? So we're already in touch with the cruiser that's going up and down the French coast to say that we're coming to contact. Can they stand by? So they will be at action stations now, ready for them. So we're doing a few exploratory shoots around to see what response it gets. Now we got also with us a couple of French resistance guys, and they don't like actually fighting the Germans face to face, but they like causing mischief. And as I mentioned earlier, one of the key things they do was to cause damage to the infrastructure. So we've actually got the Germans now thinking about it's time to fire a few rounds back to keep our heads down, but they haven't actually identified exactly where they are yet. So as we're coming round, we've got the Dodge weapons carrier again being used. You can see that most of our forces are hiding behind it because it's being protected. Now they just fired a Panzerfaust at that, which is like a bazooka. They hit it and disabled it. So now you can see it's getting very, very noisy. Lots of rounds are being exchanged. We've said bye, unfortunately, to our truck. So that's going to take no more part in the battle other than being somewhere to hide behind. The guys with the Jeep decided that it's best to get the Jeep out of the way as well, because they don't want the Jeep to be blown up as well, as they've lost all their transport. And we're now looking at possibly a pincer movement. We've identified where they are. Our friend from the Free French has taken a bit of a liking to the German motorbike. So he's just popped in to steal that, but it doesn't seem to want to start. But he's getting that out of the way. There's two reasons for that. One is it's full of petrol, so it could blow up. But more importantly, he'll have that as his private transport. So we've got the bangs that are going on at the moment is that we've actually got grenades being exchanged. The Germans use one called a potato masher, and we use one that's called or it's like a Mills grenade. So there's our Free Frenchman who's stolen the bike. He's going to hide that behind the hedge. You can come back to it later. So we've got our 30 caliber laying down fire for the Allied troops. Over to my left here, we've got a pincer movement developing, and as you can hear, the machine guns are laying down suppressive fire on a regular basis. And at the moment, the American and British forces they're not pinned down, but they can't advance easily, so they're trying to move there. Now here comes our Free Frenchman. He's already laid some charges on these telegraph poles, and he's going to try and cut off the German communications. He's just setting them off now. So they will have a time delayed fuse so that he can get free of them to not be damaged when they blow up. So that's the gunfire support now coming in from the cruiser. Like I say, that's about eight miles away on the coast. So we've got a bit of confusion going on here now. We've got some heavy bangs coming in. They keep the heads down of the Germans as we pull in the fire support. We're now the Germans are actually using their Panzerfaust and they're trying to repel the advance of the British and American forces. It seems that the charges that our Free Frenchmen's laid are not going very well. I'm not sure if there's a problem with those. Don't worry too much about the burning barricade in the middle. That's how you put out an explosion. If any of you have ever watched how they put oil wells out, you suffocate it. It has caught light again, but we'll worry about that when we come to the end of the display. You can now see that we've actually got the Americans trying to advance on the German position and get the Germans into the crossfire. Our cruiser out on the coast is still lobbing shells for us on quite a regular basis, which is what we want. We've got a composite British unit over here. We've got the American unit trying to advance, and the German defensive positions. Now there doesn't seem to be a lot happening, but when there's lead flying about, you don't want to be running around too much because you become, as you can see, the ones that are running are the ones that they get shot at first. And they've just about made it to a different position. They're trying to get into a better position to return fire because they're in danger of being overrun or in danger of being in a pincer move. They've got this Panzerfaust where they're trying to use it. The Panzerfaust is basically a bazooka. Most of you know the American bazooka. It's like a mortar shell that fires in a straight line. And you get that sort of effect when you get 8-inch gunfire coming in. And the Panzerfaust allows any infantryman to suddenly become mobile artillery, as does the bazooka. And you can, sorry, this one's a Panzer, yeah, and you can fire a 60mm shell a short distance and disable vehicles or tanks with them. Like I say, you can see the German grenades being thrown around. The potato masher was a stick grenade and was actually very much easier to throw than the Mills or the hand grenade that we usually know. And so you can get them a further distance. As you can see, we've got lots of smoke in the middle. This is usual it's what they hear about the fog of war. When you've got rounds being fired off, you've got things catching light, you've got ammunition, you've got gunfire support coming in from artillery, or in our case from a ship. This does happen, and it makes it very difficult to see what's going on. So, and one of the problems with this organisation is that the commander is actually up on the far end of the arena. So he's not in direct contact with either of the groups either side that are trying to put the pincer movement into place. So he's relying on the NCOs, the non-commissioned officers, which is the lance corporals, the corporals, the sergeants, to actually carry the battle forward. And they say that the British Army is actually run by the NCOs, and it's very much the same with the American Army. So it's down to individual small units. Sometimes just 2 or 3 people can make the difference in a tide of battle as to whether it works or not. Now our guys are being a little bit cautious today. As I said that, we got one of our paratroopers actually making a run, who's trying to overcome this trench here. We've got a bit of unarmed combat going on now, and he's not doing very well at the moment. So his mates need to get up and give him a hand. But because he's distracted them, he's getting support coming in now from the sides. So you can now see how the pincer movement is working. So we're taking care of these people. Now, like I say, unarmed combat, it's easier if you can shoot them. But sometimes when it gets up close and personal, you can only rely on using your hands or a knife or something of that nature. And all military personnel are taught unarmed combat. So eventually they will overpower the competition. We've got one lively German here, doesn't seem to want to give up. He won't get very far because we've got too many guns to shoot him with, as you can see. So we'll take him away on the stretcher later, we'll leave him there for now. But we've still got, at the moment, we've still got one gunfire post that needs to be overrun. So come on guys, get it together, get your prisoners under control. We've, under the Geneva Convention, all the time they're carrying a weapon and they're firing at you, you want to fire back at them and take them out. But once they give up, then you have to treat them as human beings. And the medical corps will now start patching up the injured people. And as far as the medical corps are concerned, it's like the Hippocratic Oath. It doesn't matter whether they're enemy or friends, they will be looked after by the medicals. But you do get some that try to be a bit lively and try to do things. So we now have overrun all the positions. We have everything, we hope we have everything in control. As you can see, the medical corps have now come up and started to treat people. We need to disarm and not just take their main weapon like their rifle or their submachine gun. We usually make sure we take their knives, their trench knives, any sidearms they may have to protect these people. And we need to get them under control. They would have to then be sent to the rear echelon to go to a prisoner of war camp. They would often be interrogated first to find out what unit they were, what their strength is, what their dispositions are, and that intelligence would be very, very useful when planning the next stage of our battle. And intelligence is very important. If you can identify who your competitor is, and you can identify what unit they are, what strength they are, you know how much of a threat they are to you. So we've got another one trying to do a runner here, which he ain't doing very, very far. It's very brave of him, but it's also a little bit silly to try and run away when there's so many guns pointing at him. Now, we've still got aircraft flying overhead, and one of the things that sometimes they would do, you just heard them shout Spitfire. That was a ruse to try and get all the English and the Americans to look up and wave at the Spitfire to show their friendly forces, and they were a bit of fisticuffs trying to get away. Now, obviously it hasn't worked, and it's ended up with more casualties, but you can't blame them for trying. We've got our army unit here, our RAMC, Royal Army Medical Corps, taking a casualty away to a clearing station. So everyone else is being marched off. So that in this instance, we have actually, the Allies have won the day again. So it's about time, they're just checking out the casualties. Don't get checked that one, guys. We know he's dead, but just go and check him for weapons. Okay, so just make sure that he's got nothing that can cause a problem either, because they could lay dead there for a little while and then all of a sudden roll over and come to life again, which is not a lot of fun. So he's just being checked out as well. One of the casualties in the middle of the field is actually being looked after as well. So off we go with our prisoners. And it's now just time to make sure that everything is safe and clear, and that we're not going to get counter-attacked by another German unit that's hiding around the corner. So well done everybody. It's time now to come together and have a parade of honour. So we've finished the enactment for today. So if the scabble driver can hear me, can you come in to recover the casualty please? And give them all a big round of applause. We'll line up along this front, guys, so you can see all the guys that we've got. A big thank you to them all for doing this. A big thank you to all the support services that we've got here as well. We hope you've actually enjoyed it. We hope you've enjoyed the commentary as well. We will be showing the Scammel's capability by recovering the truck in a minute. That we've got to clean the battlefield now. This area obviously isn't a permanent display site, so we have to now, once we've had the roll of honour, we have to go round and collect any shell casings, rounds, etc. Make sure all the charges are cleared out, so that everything is safe. We have to clear the weapons before they can leave the arena, which we have to have a check for. We need to get the fire service in to take care of our hay bales, and we need our ordnance man our ordnance expert will make sure that all the charges have gone and there's nothing there. So while they're lining up for their line-up, we've just come back to Stan again to see how he is and whether he enjoyed that. As we say, Stan's one of our D-Day veterans. It's lovely to see him here with his family. We hope he's enjoyed it. Was that okay for you, Stan? You enjoyed that, did you? Well, it's been great to see you again today, so let's give Stan, also one of our D-Day veterans, a big round of applause. He's been brought here with his family today. We all salute you, sir, for what you did for us. We wouldn't be free today without people like Stan. So we're just going to now get our line up. If you want to take pictures of these people, then we still need to keep behind the fence until the ordnance is cleared, unfortunately. But if you'd like to take pictures, while they're lined up like this, we will also do a safety check of the weapons, which obviously is important before we can leave the arena, and then we will walk the arena to pick up any unused rounds, etc. The next display in the arena today is actually at 4 o'clock, which is the Jeeps. In your programme there is scheduled a REME display at 2:30, but unfortunately due to lack of due to the fact they couldn't bring one of their vehicles here, they're unable to do a display for us. So as you can see, our reenactors now are paying their regards to Stan, which is lovely. Thank you guys and gals.